it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown.
Hi, welcome to Tailgate TV, another edition here. Brad Davis along with Cody Morris, and we are super excited to bring you these interviews coming up. Have a lot of great guests on, and we are thrilled to have them come in here and share with us a little of their knowledge and a little bit of their experiences throughout this next episode.
Yeah, I'm just tickled. We have Annalee Gardner, future OSU athlete, Oklahoma State University, coming on and chatting with us a little bit. Bill Thurman from the Steam and Gas Show in Adrain coming on, and I hear he has some stories. That should be a fun one.
Yes.
And then we also, the Rich Hill,
Yes.
famous for the 4th. We're going to have the president and vice president of the Rich Hill 4th of July committee coming on to give us some information about what's going on there. And so just tickled to talk to these individuals.
Absolutely. Ought to be a great episode. And obviously, not us, but our guests make those great episodes. But we appreciate them so much, and we appreciate our sponsors.
Yeah, the ones that are able to help us to do this and make this possible. We have Sonic, who has been one of our lead sponsors from the very beginning, believed in us. And so we very much appreciate their support. Mid-America, they're continuing to help get us out there and work alongside of us. And we want to thank them. CNS Graphics continuing to work with us and do things for us. We appreciate them. Emmanuel Baptist Church on board with us. We'd like to thank them. O3 Customs now is a new sponsor. And man, they have really hooked us up with hats. I don't know if you saw, we did a hat giveaway this month.
Yep.
Rochelle Mallett, congratulations to her who won that.
Yep.
And then the Chamber of Commerce is a new sponsor. And we have a lot of events coming up. So make sure you're checking out the Chamber's Facebook page and what they're doing. And we just like to thank everybody who's helping to make this possible, having this local podcast. And if you want to help us, if you want to make this possible, if you want to continue supporting us or start supporting us, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on board. We got all kinds of different packages to where you could come on board.
And we'll leave a link to some of these companies down below on the bottom of this, so you can get a hold of them and support those companies as well.
Absolutely.
Again, we appreciate them so much. So stay tuned. Another edition of Tailgate TV. Hi, welcome to another episode of Tailgate TV. Here with Annalee Gardner. Appreciate you coming in, Annalee. We appreciate that so much. And we are thrilled to bring you another episode of Tailgate TV. And we're going to learn a lot from Annalee.
School is in session.
I am so excited for her to be here because there's a lot of questions I've had. And of course, I've seen Annalee grow up here in Butler a lot of years. Obviously, her brother was here and he graduated with my daughter. So the families are kind of, along the same lines there. So I'm excited for Annalee to be here.
Absolutely. As you said, we had a lot of questions, and we usually, spend a couple days before we have somebody in, and we sit and go over what questions we're going to ask. And we had to eliminate questions. We had too many. We're like, there's so much that we want to know about you, Anthony.
Yes. We're like, we did not want to waste an hour of her time.
No, we could easily, though. We could have a whole special. Absolutely. But we'll jump right into them because, like I said, we do have a list here. But when did you really decide that pole vaulting was something that you wanted to pursue? When did you realize that it was something you were good at and wanted to continue to do?
Well, okay, so my brother obviously, he started, and I think it was my 5th grade year. And actually, my first pole was an apple picker stick. And so
I love it.
My brother, he was like, well, I am kind of lonely, I want someone to vault with. So I was like, you know what? And I just went over, grabbed the apple picker stick, and I kind of tried it, and I was like, oh, I'm actually not too bad at it. I was jumping over 6 feet as a 5th grader. And I was like, okay, maybe this is something I'm good at. And then the next day, Ethan decides that the apple picker stick's a javelin. Throws it, breaks it in half. So I was kind of all right, well, maybe I need a break. And so I kind of took a break for a little bit. I'd do a meet, here and there, but it just wasn't consistent. And so my 7th grade year, junior high, big middle school things are happening, and track season rolls around, and I'm like, all right, let's try pole vault again. And so I pole vault, and I was like, oh, I'm getting 8 feet, 9 feet, eventually get up to 10 feet as an 8th grader.
Wow.
And honestly, like, I didn't really decide this is what I wanted to, like, pursue when I'm older, probably really until my junior year.
Okay.
Which is kind of a surprise to a lot of people just because I've been doing it forever. But, I mean, that's when I really buckled down. And I was like, okay, like, I'm kind of good at this. Like, I kind of want to do this in my future. And so my junior year, I was like, for sure, let's go. Let's do this. Full heart, everything. And so that's kind of when I decided I wanted to pursue it.
Well, and that even makes it more impressive.
It does.
I mean, yeah, I love the apple picker. That's,
You're right.
I hate that he broke it. That could be like, that should be like
nostalgia.
framed on your wall somewhere.
Absolutely. So, you mentioned that you were doing other things,
Yes.
and you did other things in high school.
Yes.
What kind of things did you do other than pole vaulting?
I mean, I've done so many different sports. I mean, come from a small town, you kind of forced into that position. And so I did softball. I honestly thought I was going to go to college for softball because
Okay.
I played softball 1st grade through 10th grade. And, I mean, it was my first love. And, I mean, I'm fast. I'm a good base runner.
I like it.
But, softball was a huge one. And then volleyball became a really big interest of mine. And I was actually able to be a team captain my junior and senior year and really learn to like bond with the team. And I love that. And then I had some cross country days in there. Managed to make top 10 all time for Butler,
Wow.
which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
But I mean, honestly, I hated cross country. I'm going to be honest with you. But Mr. Barnes somehow was like, yeah, you're doing this.
it,
And I was
right?
like, okay.
If you say so.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so I showed up and just kind of ran here and there. And then what other sports? Softball. And then track and field. I think that's really it.
Well, it's still
And,
awesome.
yeah, that keeps you
Yeah.
busy.
And it just goes to show you what kind of an athlete you are, that you're so good at so many different
you.
things. That's
Thank you.
yeah, really impressive.
Thank you so much.
Well, and I guess like with doing all of that, what's your favorite memory of high school? And I guess maybe we think more along the lines of athletics, but
Yeah.
like maybe even outside of that, like what's your favorite high school memory then?
That one's tough.
Well, it sounds, I mean, you've done so much. You probably have a
there's
list
so
to choose
many
from.
memories. I think probably the funniest memory that I have is it was actually this season for volleyball. And so I eat a lot of bananas while I'm playing volleyball.
Okay.
'Cause-
Helps the cramps.
Yeah. And so there's this one game. It was a home game actually. And I was, it was we had a little break in between like quarters or half, whatever, I don't know. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna eat my banana. So I eat like a banana. I have another one laying on the ground, and I run over. So we're playing. I think, I don't know. It's middle of the game, and I'm running over to get a ball, and it's literally right on the bench. And I pass the ball, and all of a sudden I like just slip and fall, and
On your banana.
and so I'm running back, and I just keep slipping. Like it was the most embarrassing thing, but I'm just like falling and slipping like a cartoon, literally straight cartoon. And like the whole game gets paused. There's banana literally across the entire court. Like I got the ball, so that was kind of cool, but like it was horrible. We had like take 15-minute break, clean up the banana. It was so embarrassing, but that was probably one of my funniest memories.
We're going to have to go in the Prepcast archive and see if this game was broadcast. And if so, it will be on your screen. We will show you this memory.
Yes.
If it's not there, we couldn't find it.
That's outstanding.
But yeah, no, that sounds incredible.
Well, and you have to laugh at yourself, right? I mean, you might as well. That's great. That's a great memory.
Now, one thing you have done, I mean, you're very accomplished, but you've won, I believe, back-to-back state titles in
Yes, sir.
pole vaulting. I mean, is that a goal that you set for yourself? Is that something you kind of set out to do, or did it just kind of happen?
Yeah, so Actually, I wanted to win 3 state titles. My sophomore year went pretty bad. I vaulted horrible.
Well, it wasn't that bad. I think you did what, 5th in
Yeah,
state?
I did
That's
fifth.
so- I'd say darn. I came in. I was the 5th best in the state.
I was
so bad.
terrible.
Yeah.
I did 5th. So actually, like I remember coming back from, and that was actually in class 3, and we're class 2. But I came back from that, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, this is not. I'm not a 5th place person. And so
like it.
after that, I was just kind of like, all right, well, I'm gonna win first from here on out. And so my junior and senior year, I dedicated myself, and I was like, yeah, I mean, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want to be like, I don't want to put myself out there and be like, but
She spoke the competition. Is what she's trying to say.
I did. And I mean, that was super cool to watch. And I think it was definitely a goal I set for myself. And I definitely wanted to do it my freshman year, but I really only had 3 years of track. So it was definitely cool, and it was an amazing feeling. Just getting that opportunity. I mean, really all glory goes to God.
Absolutely.
He guided me in so many ways. And I think what made me feel, I think, better was actually not even pole vault. This year I managed to get 3rd place in 300 hurdles as well.
Saw that.
And that coming from like kind of knowing I was going to get 1st place in pole vault to like, oh my gosh, like I actually just ran 3rd in 300 hurdles. Never even knew like I would even do that. I don't know. I just thought that was such a cool experience, and all those girls are amazing and incredible. So yeah.
Well, and I love how you phrase it. You know, I've had the chance to talk to a few, local athletes and whatnot, and the motivation of the hatred for losing, or the hatred of not living up.
Absolutely.
I mean, that, there's a basketball player here that I've talked to, and I said, what really motivates you? What makes you tick? And he said, I hate losing. So I put the time in. And so here you say, I was so unhappy with myself for finishing 5th, which is still a class above where you even should be competing, and then still finishing 5th. But to be, I didn't like that. I put it in, and I mean, that can be a great motivator.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it was just really cool. And then like we kind of looked back, and I actually would have won state for all 5 classes this year.
Wow.
And which is,
So
I mean, it's
literally
just,
you were the state champion.
yes,
Yeah.
it was just really, it really was like stood out to me, and I was like, okay, like I am good at this. And sometimes that's hard to think because you're comparing yourself to those other athletes who are jumping 2 feet higher than me, or college athletes where I'm going to be competing next year. And I'm like, you know what? I need to just step back and be like, okay, I am worth it. I can do this. And
Absolutely.
it was just a really important kind of moment for me this year, especially.
So what is your PR? What is your
So my PR is 12.4.
solid?
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I mean, it's definitely not where I want to be, but I mean, it's where I am. And kind of just need to be where you are and keep working, and those results will come.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I wonder what your PR was, because I was like, wow, that's amazing. Because if you would have hit that at state,
Yeah.
I mean, not that you were far off of it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, wow, you would have really killed them.
Yeah.
I mean, worse than you did.
I'm not gonna lie, the weather at state was just absolutely horrible.
Not
Was it?
conducive to
It
good
was not
jumps.
conducive. It was a headwind. I mean, it was sleeting. It was just not the best, but I mean, we made it work, and I'm really glad we did.
Still came home with the title.
That's it. So, I'm kind of interested because you talked about being a team captain in volleyball.
Yeah.
And I know that there's some young ladies around this area. There's an Andrews young lady from Archie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know her?
Yes, absolutely.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other ones here in Butler that have really showed an interest in pole vaulting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that credit goes to you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
And I think that they are looking to you and the way you handle yourself, the way that you lead is, again, really something that they aspire to be. Can you talk a little bit about that
Yeah, I can. So Molly, I'll talk about Molly right now just because she's really one of my closest friends, and I absolutely adore her and everything she stands for. And actually, I'm going to bring up a girl from Maysville, Mirabella Redmond. Those two stuck it out with me this entire senior season. I mean, they were also ran 300 hurdles, also ran 100 hurdles. I mean, we all got top 3 in hurdles.
Awesome.
We all got like top 5 in pole vault. So it's just like these girls stuck it out with me the entire season, and I'm so grateful for them. But there's definitely been an interest in pole vault, especially around our community,
Right.
which honestly has just like made me love the sport even more, because it's like, wow, like this sport is so complex. There are so many techniques, so many technical things. I mean, like there's not just one way to do it. It's not like you just go up there and you can just do it. Like there's so many different ways. And I think that's what makes it so interesting, so complex, that it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be like that one shot's going to make it. Like,
Right.
it's amazing. And I guess like I know a couple girls from Butler, like Caroline Cook, Tandy Heiser. Tandy Heiser is gonna be good. You're gonna need to keep her on her radar because she is gonna be a 13-foot vaulter.
Really?
I mean, she's already like in 8th grade, 10-2.
Wow.
I mean, broke my record.
Wow.
She'll be good if she keeps working for it, and I know she will because she has that grit. But just like Molly will be amazing.
And that's the Molly Andrews from Archie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I
Coached her little sister, as a matter of fact, in basketball.
Oh,
yeah, a couple years ago.
Well, I just want to point out, like, in talking to you, like the leadership and the way you root for her, like when you talked about she beat my personal record, and it wasn't this, and obviously there was probably a little bit of but like you were like, happy for her, too, like like to see these other individuals do well.
Well, I mean, Tandy, like I grew up with her, and so watching her just grow, it's just been so incredible because she's like my little sister, and so you take like my record and I see her like just break that number. It's just like, wow. Like I'm so proud of you right now.
Yeah. Well, because the kind of work that went into it to set that record and for her to break it, to put that work in.
Pole vault is such a journey. And so just to see like the community in pole vault has really just made me like who I am. Yeah. Because like the pole vault community isn't like any other sport. Everybody is so happy for anything that you do because it's not a competitive sport. It's
you're competing against yourself more so than you are someone else.
Yes, absolutely. And everybody knows how long it's taken for like someone to get there or how much work you have to put in to get a certain height. And so I feel like everybody in our community and like the pole vault community in general is just so supportive. And I absolutely I think that's truly what's made me who I am today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And I as you said, I love watching you talk about the other young ladies and the sport, right? You can tell that you have a genuine love for those young people and for the sport itself. And that's obviously that's something that'll carry you a long way.
Thank you.
That's going to be awesome. So we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but Annalee will be attending Oklahoma State University in the fall.
Yes, sir. Go Pokes.
And go Pokes. And she is going.
Took a lot for you to say that.
It was kind of stuck in my throat a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Boomer. But so what was that recruiting process like for you at Oklahoma State?
Yeah, very stressful.
Okay.
Very stressful.
Okay.
I mean, I had been looking at a couple schools. My top 3 kind of narrowed down to Nebraska, K-State, and Oklahoma State. And so
good schools.
Yes. And I mainly chose those 3 just because they're closer schools. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a homebody.
It's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
So I narrowed those choices down, and I definitely looked at like the Air Force Academy and the Naval Academy, but and I had offers from them. That was just not.
Yeah, no, you phrase that. It's so like you say. I was looking at these 3. Let's not be wrong. These 3 schools were looking at you too.
Correct.
Yes, they were. I got offers from all of them, and it was hard. it was a very hard decision, but there were just some like little technical things that was like, as soon as I kind of like went to Oklahoma State, it was just kind of like people talk about it. They're like, you're going to have that feeling. You're just going to kind of know. And
Absolutely.
I'm going to be honest, I really didn't. Like, people talk about it, and I didn't have that feeling anywhere I went. And so I was like, what is going on?
Right.
Like, I'm not getting that one feeling that every other athlete has been telling me about. And so I went on my first visit to Oklahoma State, and I loved it so much. Like, it was really comparable because each athlete and each coach at each of these schools was they were incredible. And I mean, I wish I could go to all three.
Sure.
But something about Coach Langley at Oklahoma State and all of the girls on that team, it was just like this is home. I know I'm going to get along with each of you. And I mean, it took me a while to kind of like figure that out. But once I was just talking to Coach Langley more and I went on my visit, it was just like, wow, all right. Like, this feels like home, because honestly, Stillwater is like that place that's just like, it's a small town with a bunch of people in it.
It is.
And that's kind of what I was looking for. But Coach Langley is just so inspirational, and I am so incredibly grateful to be able to have that opportunity to go in the Big 12 conference and compete at this level. But the process was definitely hard, for sure. But
and you look good in orange, I'm assuming? You do now, right?
I do now.
That's right. Nothing wrong with that.
And I noticed, and it was fun to see. It didn't take you long to embrace that. I think now every time I see you on Instagram, on social media, you're sharing all of the OSU stuff. You seem proud to be out there.
I'm so excited. I mean, it really is the brightest orange out there. And it's no greater feeling that I'm a part of this team, and I'm so excited to be able to continue that.
That's exciting. We're excited to see what you do out there.
And I bet you they're excited to have you. Absolutely.
So I guess the other thing we wanted to ask you about is with, so much changing in college sports lately, like with the NIL stuff, the last few years being a thing. Have you seen any of that? Does any of that affect you or what you've seen or been affected by?
So, I mean, with NIL, it's just took off like crazy. And actually one of my soon to be teammates, Tori Ortiz, she's a really big name in the NIL, and she's from Oklahoma State, and she's a sprinter, but she just seeing following her and all that NIL stuff, it's really played a big deal in athletes being able to pay for college. Because frankly, I've definitely been talking to different brands, trying to get some more ambassadors and trying to get that NIL stuff, because it's becoming almost like a necessity for athletes.
Absolutely.
Because really, I feel like people don't realize, especially for track, that colleges don't give out full rides for track.
Correct.
They don't. It's hard to find that money. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just whenever you have 18 different scholarships to give out, full ride scholarships to 60 plus people, it's really hard. And so all those little NIL deals coming in, it's just changing the game, because it's all right, I can make money while doing the thing I love, while being passionate for it, and people see that passion. And so seeing people invest in you, it changes the entire
game.
And
then knowing those people believe in you too, that just they're giving you that vote of confidence.
Absolutely.
And if you're watching this and you're somebody considering that, there is no better lady here than Annalee.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
She will make your business better than it is today, I promise you. So that being said, what are you going to major in college? You have a Okay.
All right. So I'm actually going to be majoring in English. And no, I'm not going to be an English teacher like my mom.
Okay.
That's not the route we're heading.
Okay.
But
that you know of, not the plan.
That I know of, I guess. But basically what I want to do in the future is I want to be a lawyer. And
Awesome.
so, like, I'm going to be going down these paths, and I think I'm going to major in English. I'm not really sure what I'm going to minor in, but definitely something like sports management, journalism, somewhere
Awesome.
around that. Because, I mean, the goal is really to be a sports lawyer.
Okay.
So work with, like, NFL teams
Awesome.
and, like, represent, I don't know, maybe the Chiefs one day
There you go.
and be on their law and legal team and all of that. I just think
Now
it's
that sounds
so
stressful.
incredible.
Oh, yeah. You're kidding.
yeah, but I love it. And I mean, I've wanted to be a lawyer since I was little. I mean, I never really changed my job. I was just like, this is what I want to be, and I'm going to go for it. So
When you know,
I'm
you know.
excited.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And be looking for Annalee's podcast when that comes out, because she'll be doing that in 4 or 5 years. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
So we got a fun little ending segment for you, and it is a true or false.
Okay.
So I have a list of true or false questions here, and we're going to let you answer them.
Perfect.
Brad really wanted to know,
I did want to know.
is it true or false that you're afraid of heights?
False.
Yeah.
False.
We figured as high as you jump, there's
Very
no
far
way.
from it.
Yeah.
That would be my problem.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, besides the weight. We're
Well,
not talking about that. But
One of your problems.
one of my issues with pole vaulting.
True or false? Pole vaulting dates back to at least 200 BC.
Ooh. I don't. Probably. I'm going to say true.
It's false. It dates
It's
back
false.
to 500 BC.
Oh,
It's
I
even
mean,
older than that.
All right. Well,
They were using apple pickers.
that's
Right.
that's crazy. I didn't know.
True or false? Garth Brooks is an alumni of OSU.
True. Very true.
Very true.
On the track team too.
Was he?
Yeah, he threw javelin.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
sir.
So now you've already answered this one. True or false, though? OSU orange is the brightest orange.
Yep. 100%.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Last one. Your favorite Sonic drink is a raspberry lemon water.
True.
I got him.
It is true. And we appreciate Sonic hooking her up today.
Ab-
Yes,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
Yeah, that was outstanding. So we want to thank so much, Annalee, for being here. We're excited for your future. I know you are, and I know your mom and dad, and your whole family is just excited for what you're fixing to learn.
Thank you.
Really, because that's the whole point of it, right? And
I cannot wait.
bright star here in Annalee. We appreciate you watching Tailgate TV.
Thank you so much.
CNS Graphics is happy to once again be serving Butler and surrounding areas. We are back and ready to serve you. We specialize in poster-worthy sport edits, but can help assist you in any of your graphic design needs. Find us on Facebook today, or call or text Cody at 479-385-1120 and let us create a custom graphic that you can cherish for a lifetime. And remember, your graphics deserve to be cool and stylish.
Welcome back to Tailgate TV. Today we have Bill Thurman, who heads up the steam engine side of Frontier Village. We are really glad to have you, Bill. And he's here with us today as they get ready for the 45th annual Steam and Gas Engine Show. This thing's been going on for 45 years. That's quite a long time. How long have you been involved with doing this?
47.
Okay.
Very good.
I joined the club when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
No kidding.
So a lifetime.
I'm not a charter member. I missed it by one meeting. I didn't have a ride to the first meeting. I grew up on a dairy farm, so I made the second meeting. I've been a member ever since.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Now, so the club is older than the show.
Yes.
Okay. So the club's been around 48 years then? Does that be?
Yeah, it was formed back in like 77, 78. I think we had our first show unorganized like in 78. We had it in the city park then. We didn't have any grounds. We had it in the city park, I think, 3 or 4 years when we first started. And then the grounds came available, and that's when we moved over to our present location.
Interesting. Don't know that I realized that. And now, you say you grew up on a dairy farm. Was that here local or?
5 miles east of Archie.
Okay.
Yep. Little town called Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, this is coming up pretty quickly. This is going to be here in the next couple of days. This is going to be starting. I don't know if people realize how much y'all actually do during the show out there at Frontier Village. One of the things I know people know a lot about is the train. I know that's one of the big pulls you guys do out there. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. I can pat myself on the back. I kind of brought the train in.
Awesome.
I went to a sale probably 25, 30 years ago. As soon as I turned around the corner, they were selling a 7.5-inch gauge steam locomotive. They almost had it sold. I bid on it, not knowing. I just knew it was cheap. So I bought it and came back to the next board meeting and told the club he was in the railroad business.
They were ecstatic.
We tried for years to make this train work. Railroad is a very complicated thing. We used metal tracks, so when the sun come out, it would warp our tracks. When it got cold, it would shrink our tracks. We fiddled with that for about 5 years and never really we could run the train forward and backwards. That was it. So we started asking for help to get this railroad set up, and we had a guy come down from the city, and he looked our situation over, and he said, "You guys are never going to have a railroad." He said, "It's just not going to happen." And we had a member named Artie Essenprice who could do anything. And when this guy told Artie he couldn't do it,
he was determined to prove him wrong.
We got a train.
Well, I think it's amazing. Not only seeing it from the highway, right, which is I mean, I look that direction every time I pass through Adrain just to see what's going on over there, that kind of thing. But it is an eye catcher. That train, it's awesome.
It is probably our biggest drawing card. The railroad is kind of a separate club within a club. They govern themselves. They pick their own schedule. And that's been our greatest asset with our club is disorganization. We have people that are taking interest in stuff. We let them do it, and we leave them alone. And that has been our greatest asset is everybody supports each other, but we also give everybody their own space.
Yeah, and I know not all of them, probably not even most of them, but I know a few of the members up there, and they're those kind of people that they're gonna delve into something, and they're gonna get it done, and they're gonna do it right. And it's just, I think y'all definitely benefit from having some great members like yourself and many others out there. One of the things that y'all do that I've noticed is a huge pull around here, no pun intended, is the tractor pull.
The tractor pull is been one of our major attractions. It used to be the tractor pull was a walk-on sled. I don't know if you've ever seen that or not.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a member that built us the sled that we use now. So that got us off the walk-in sled. The reason we got away from that was liability.
Sure.
And plus, you have to have people of the same kind of weight to be able to be fair on it. The tractor pull, like I said, it is a plain Jane tractor pull, probably the only tractor pull like it. In our part of the country, we allow no tune-ups, turn-ups. If you're blowing blue smoke, you're not pulling. Everything's got to be stock. Everybody cheers you if you pull 5 feet or you pull 50 feet.
Oh, yeah.
And we do get belt buckles, I think. No trophies or nothing. We just do it all for fun. And that's the major thing. Organization, everything we do is for fun. Everybody already has a job. So if you make it into a job, nobody wants to do it. So everything we do is just for fun.
Well, and I think the local kid, I mean, that's I was talking about the people that are like, oh, you're doing this during the tractor pull weekend, and it was local kids. I mean, that they want to get out there on their tractors. They've been out in the field driving, and they want to get out there and, like you say, have fun. And so really appreciate what you're doing for the community there to get out there and be able to do that.
Now, they're limited to 1970 and before, correct? Rubber-tired tractors.
We have 2 pulls. We have a classic pull and an antique pull. Back in the old days, when we first started, we wouldn't let anything on the place that was not 1939 or older.
Oh, wow.
We was strictly antique. Classic was not, because everybody's grandfather, everybody's father had farmed with this old stuff.
Sure.
And we had 300 installed tractors at a show.
Wow.
As the years went by, now everybody's grandfather had a 40-20. Or they had a D21 or stuff like that. So we had to amend that. And now we pull 200 styled tractors and maybe 10 unstyled tractors.
Is that right?
It's just, everything has changed because you like what you grew up with.
Absolutely.
And as you grow up with more modern things, everything changes to that. So yeah, we have a classic pull on Friday and then an antique pull on Saturday.
Awesome. That's fun.
We were looking over here at the schedule of events, and 2 things. I don't know if I've been out there a handful of times. I don't know if I've noticed these: the bell throwing and the great potato stab. Those sound kind of fun. Can you tell us a little bit about those 2?
The bell throwing is just what it is. You pick up a bell and see how far you can throw it.
Okay.
I won the bell throwing for like 20 years in a row, and then this little kid kept telling me he was going to beat me. And it took a hip replacement and a knee replacement and rods in my back, and Sean Hornback finally did beat me. So I got out of it, and we have for all, women's, men's, young kids, young women. So we have all kinds of different categories.
Okay.
It's really a neat deal. The baked potato stab is you're riding on a tractor or on a trailer, you're straddling potatoes, and you've got a stick with a nail in it. And you've got to stab those potatoes as they come underneath the tractor.
Outstanding.
And whoever has the most potatoes wins.
That sounds like a good time.
And they go pretty fast, so
Yeah.
you really got to be up on it. So we do have a good time with that. That's what we're all about. We're very diversified. We like to keep everybody entertained. Everybody doesn't like antique tractors and steam engines. So we are very diversified to draw the community.
Well, and that's one thing. I mean, I enjoy the tractors, but you can go out there if you don't enjoy tractors and have a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys do a very good job of just putting on an event that people can go and have fun. One of my favorite things, it has nothing to do with tractors, but it's the breakfast. The ladies auxiliary out there, and I think they do it every day from 6 to 10.
Yes.
And you can go out there, and I tell you what, that breakfast is pretty good.
It is. That's one of our main events too. There's people who just come for breakfast and leave. And
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, they put on the breakfast for years and years, and a lot of hard work doing it. But it has raised them a lot of money through the years, and they do a really good job doing it.
Absolutely.
One of the things I wanted to really kind of get an answer to is you have a different 12 o'clock bell than most places, and it's the anvil shoot every day, 12 o'clock noon. You all have an anvil shoot.
The story behind that is, I don't know how many years ago it was, it's called Ringing of the Anvil. And back in the mid-1800s, that's how they would summon if somebody whose house was on fire, if they had to get the attention, the blacksmith would ring the anvil. We found out about this, and there was a guy down in Arkansas that did this professionally. So he came up one year and rung the anvil. Forget what he charged us, a couple $100. But anyway, our guys were standing around watching him. There's not much to that.
Sure.
So the next year we did.
Okay.
And we've done it ever since. You have to have brand new anvils. You just can't take an old anvil out there and blow it.
Okay.
They have to be identical.
Okay.
And turn one upside down, put the other one on the other top of the other one, smear it with peanut butter to seal it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when you let it off, like I said, we've had the anvil go 200-300 feet in the air.
Wow.
We have never had the anvil. I don't think we've ever had the anvil land beyond 10 feet of where it went up.
Is that right?
Of course, you need to level everything out. But,
Sure.
But the guys are really good at it. Matter of fact, one year, they shot the anvil, and the anvil came directly back down and hit the anvil on the ground again.
Is that right?
And broke the anvil in half.
I bet it did.
So
That's
that is
pretty
something
impressive.
we're famous for, is bringing the anvil, and we've done it, gosh, I don't know how many years.
That's awesome.
And it came from Arkansas.
There you go. Well,
Yeah, that,
doesn't that figure?
we've always been a club where somebody sees something, it's, hey, you guys
Oh, yeah,
watch
bring it
this.
back.
Right.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
when they found out that we could do it, it's been that way ever since.
Another fun thing that I think gets the community involved that I've seen, I've had the honor of riding in it, is the Parade of Power that you guys do, where you just get, everybody bring your tractors out here. Let's do a parade, or let's ride through them. That's a lot of fun. It's a lot of involvement.
That, to some people, that is the show.
Yeah.
To a little 5-year-old kid that can drive his dad's tractor with his dad hanging on to him on the back of it, he'll remember that the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
And that is what we're after. We are after making memories and gaining people through friendship. I think that's the most important thing we want to do out there, is build relationships and getting the young people involved and making, if it makes sense. Sometimes you have a hard time finding where you fit.
Sure.
And we try to make everybody fit.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, we've done a really good job of it. We have made some people mad over the years, not on purpose. But the Parade of Power is very important to us. Like I said, it lets people showcase. Somebody could have a $100,000 tractor, and somebody could have a $500 lawnmower, but they're just as proud of that lawnmower as the people are that $500,000 tractor. So we treat them the same.
Absolutely.
And that's what we like to do.
Well, and another thing, you talk about everybody coming in, having something to do. You do on Sundays. You do a church service out there.
Yes.
That is, I've been around there when you're doing that, and that is a very interesting thing that you do.
We will not ever deny that we put God, country, family first in our organization. We
Absolutely.
are a very, very religious organization. We start most everything with prayers. We are a Christian-based activity. We are someplace where if your kid runs off, you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
Everybody, we like to consider ourselves family, and we are family.
Mm-hmm.
But God has always come first in our association, and then country, and then family. We're very proud of that.
Yeah. And now how long, I don't know if you would know the answer to this or not, so has the church that's there, so the 45 years you've been doing that, is that something you've always done? Is that something that's come recent? So it's always had the church service there on Sunday?
We didn't have church. We'd have a tent.
Got you.
Sure.
But we'd always have service.
Okay.
We never went without service. And then when we got the church, we went ahead and used the church for that. I think the schoolhouse was the first building in, and then I think the church was either third or fourth after that. But all those buildings are actual buildings. They're not rebuilt. The schoolhouse we moved in there intact. The church we moved in there intact. The Spruce Mercantile we did tear down and rebuild, but that actually was the Spruce Mercantile in the village of Spruce. The other buildings have all been local houses we've torn down and used lumber. So everything is historically significant on those buildings we moved.
That's awesome.
And it's impressive too when you walk down there through that village, and just the way it's upkept, the way that it's maintained, and just it's a cool atmosphere. I mean, it really
all
is.
volunteer labor. Nobody gets paid for nothing. Everything is 100% volunteer. Every dime that the club earns goes right back into the museum.
That's
right
awesome.
back into the grounds.
That's beautiful.
It is. It is.
We're going to end with a fun little segment. We have some questions here. It's over/under. So I'm going to give you a fact and a number, and you're going to tell me if the accurate number is over or under that. So the first tractor ever was in 1996. Is it over or under that?
Under that. First tractor?
1892.
1892?
That was the information that we found.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that's correct?
Well, Internet's always right. Internet never lies.
That depends if it's internal combustion.
It was gas. It was
that was gas.
Yes, it was a gas engine. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't deal with them.
I know. I was going to say.
I don't deal with them.
So when was the first steam engine? Do you know? Because I don't know.
60s.
Is that accurate?
Okay.
Okay.
Practical farm power.
Well, and I asked you. We were talking about this earlier.
We had mentioned that.
So we were trying to debate and not just having a conversation about why things went from steam to gasoline and then obviously diesel. We were kind of under the impression that it was for convenience more than anything, but you have more knowledge than we ever will.
You come up next or 2 weeks, so that's 110 degrees, and get on that steam engine, and I don't even have to answer you.
Okay.
You'll know exactly why
Okay.
you got away from that.
Okay.
Plus, steam engine takes approximately 3 to 4 hours every morning before it's ready to run.
Okay.
It takes approximately 3 to 4 hours after you're done to shut it down.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not something you just turn a key on or you
Right.
put up a flywheel. Also, a steam engine, they're extremely heavy.
Okay.
After they broke the prairies,
Right.
you couldn't do much anymore with them because they would go, instead of going on top of the ground, they would go through the ground.
Is that right?
So at secondary tillage, they were no good.
I see.
So just thrashing and sawmilling, and of course the railroad used them extensively.
Sure.
That's all they were good for. And there's nothing more efficient than the steam engine. The railroads will even tell you that. The railroads got out of it because of the cost factor.
Gotcha.
They were so high in maintenance, they could not keep affordable to just keep rebuilding them.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, good information. Good information.
How many tractors are used in the U.S. each year? Over or under 5 million?
I'm going to say over 5 million.
It's under 4.2.
That's a lot. A
It's
lot
a
of
lot of
tractors.
tractors.
That's a lot of tractors.
Here's a
I
fun.
mean, I just think about that and I'm like, man,
That is a lot of tractors.
that's a lot
Yeah.
of tractors.
In 1913 Case 3060 was the most expensive antique tractor sold. It sold for over or under $1.2 million.
I watched that too. It was over.
It was. 1.47.
Very good. Very
Yep.
good. Yep.
Yep. I think that was in
Yeah,
what,
that's awesome.
2020, 2021?
I remember.
It was fairly recent.
Yep.
It was last year.
Was it last year?
22. Okay.
Yeah, that was a tractor worth $1.4 million. It's a lot of money. I wish I could find one of those.
It takes two people.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all you- it just takes two
It's
people.
that's right. It's not the guy with the money; it's the other guy with the money too, right? Absolutely.
Last one. The average cost of a tractor in 1950, over or under $1,000.
1950?
1950.
50.
Mhm.
That would have been, I'd say that'd be over. I mean, $1,000 is still had.
Yeah, it said that the average was around 3,500, somewhere between 2 and 5. So yeah. But well, Bill, we appreciate you
Absolutely.
coming out here and talking with us, and yeah, a lot of great information. And the tractor pull, it starts when, not tractor pull, but the steam and gas engine show, it starts when?
So we start Friday, the 23rd?
Friday, I believe that is accurate. So Friday the 23rd,
And it'll start with breakfast, 6 in the morning.
and that Lady Ox does a great breakfast.
Yep. And by all, of course, weather depends on everything, but by all things we have seen, this should be a record-setting show. Should be the largest show we've ever had.
And that's saying a lot because y'all had some big shows.
We've got tons of exhibits, tons of new things. Those who haven't been up there, we've got a brand new Lionel train display. I don't know if you've seen that.
Mm-mm.
Complete post-war Lionel train display. They built a station inside the museum, and it's 100% Lionel trains.
Is that right?
And it is just neater than get out. We have the largest, I think, in the world, model engine display.
Wow.
And these are little gas engines that this man has built, and they are exactly like the big gas engines. They're just little.
Is that right?
And I believe we have Lloyd Wilhite built all these, and it's just an absolute remarkable.
That's
display.
neat.
I could go on long. Encourage everybody to come out. This is our main fundraising deal. Difference between our club and a lot of other clubs, we keep our grounds open 365 days a year,
Mm-hmm.
so we have to pay liability insurance.
Well, and I mean,
Oh, yeah,
a lot of kids go out there on field
Yes.
trips. I mean, there's a lot that you guys do. I mean, you do the show every year, which is your big deal, but you do a lot of stuff throughout the
We
year
open
too.
up for birthdays, we have weddings, we have everything. The trains run for birthdays, no charge. They'll just come out and run them. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
This is our main fundraiser. So we need everybody's support. Because
And
it takes a lot of money to put on this show.
well,
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's $10 a ticket for adults. I think kids are free.
15 and under, free, and it's good for all 3 days.
Yeah, so I mean,
That's
it's
hard.
Well, it's
absolutely, especially for
extreme.
the amount, what you get for the money going out there. I mean, it's a heck of a show. So encourage everybody watching. If you've never checked it out, go check it out for the first time. And if you've been there before, go back because it is wonderful.
Absolutely.
We want to thank Bill again for coming on with
Thank you
us.
so much.
We appreciate your support very, very much. We appreciate this very much.
Absolutely. And we will be back on Tailgate TV.
As people, we are in need, first and foremost, of a Savior. Though not nearly as much as a Savior, we are in need of community. Community to lift us up, to rejoice alongside, to weep with, and to be ministered to in whatever walk of life we are in. At Emmanuel Baptist Church, we are not the perfect church for the perfect person, but we are the church of the perfect Lamb of God, Jesus Christ. Verse by verse, book by book preaching, contemporary worship, and multiple generations under one roof. We hope you'll join us sometime at Emmanuel Baptist Church, 10 o'clock Sunday mornings, 801 West Dakota Street, Butler, Missouri.
Welcome to Tailgate TV, where we have some really exciting guests here today. We're getting ready to talk about the Rich Hill 4th of July. And if you don't know, which you probably do, Rich Hill is famous for the 4th. And so here in studio today, we have the president and vice president of the Rich Hill 4th of July Committee, Natalea Platt and Billy Humble. So we're so glad to have you guys here today.
Thank you.
Glad to be here. We'll jump straight into some questions. And as we sit, I mean, I know ever since I've been in Bates County, Rich Hill's been going on with the 4th for a long time. And we were kind of looking over some stuff, some information gathering before we had you guys in. And it looks like this has been going on for a long time. Do y'all know kind of when this started, how long this has been going on, and then how long have you guys been involved in it?
Actually, the 4th of July celebration of Rich Hill has
pretty much as far as we know. We call it 1881.
Oh, wow.
Because that's the town was actually founded on July 8th of 1880. So
The next year?
1881 was but and we've kind of tossed around. We don't have any actual historical facts of it. That's why it's always been a multi-day celebration. That in the beginning, that it wasn't maybe 4th of July / the anniversary of the town being founded.
Interesting.
That's always kind of been my theory behind it, because it's as long as we know and as long as my grandparents knew.
So literally, as long as Rich Hill's been a town, this has been a thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. So how long have you guys been involved in doing this?
I started helping out with the co-ed sand volleyball tournament in
Okay.
2007, 6, somewhere along in there. And then I joke around, I showed up to the wrong meeting in 2007. And
I hear that happens.
So since then, so it's been a while. But there's a lot of pressure comes with that whenever this is a thing that's been going on since 1881, and you hear your parents and your grandparents growing up talking about, all these crowds. And there was a time whenever things just kind of dwindled some, and then all that pressure coming in, like, what are we going to do to make this big again? And, a lot of sweat went into that. I can't even describe it.
Well, and it seems that it's done well. I mean, it does seem like it's come back. I don't know when exactly you're talking about it dwindling, but it seems like the last couple of times I've been out there, I mean, there's a crowd.
Yeah.
A big one.
We had a bad year with a flood. Was it 2007 or 6? The road closed.
Right.
Yeah, the road 71 or 49 closed north of Rich Hill, and it was hard for anybody to get there. And that was a really rough year. And then the carnival's like, well, we're not coming back. It's going to be this way. And that getting a carnival that's safe and reliable is a whole nother can of worms. So
Yeah.
Anyway, off we started with trying to raise money.
Interesting. Now, how many people? So we have you two here. How many people? I mean, go into putting this on? How many people are on the committee? What goes into this?
There are 8 to 10 pretty steady full-time members that put a lot of work, and just tons and tons of volunteers around the time, help with fireworks stand, help with fundraising dinners, and other things we do during the year for the community. So, it is there is a lot of community involvement in it.
Gotcha. So does you say 8 to 10, are each of those, I mean, does everybody kind of have their own little interest, like this is your job, or is it pretty much we're just all going to work together to do these things, or a little bit of both?
A little of
Yeah.
both.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Well, as it's progressed over the years, I think some of us have gone and I'm going to do this and you'll do that, and she does this or he does that. And we've all kind of figured out what we have time for and what we're good at and what we can make work. And then we all come together and just make it happen. But it seriously takes the whole town, because I feel like there's a lot of patience with downtown being shut down for an entire week, even though people think that there's not much there. There really is several businesses down there, and just the street closures for the parade and for various other activities that we have. So, it takes a little time.
It does.
And it seems like the whole town comes behind it, and I mean, it's
absolutely.
famous for the 4th. I mean, the whole town embraces it. You see it when you drive down. I think is the banner up now. I think, isn't it? Okay. Yeah,
banner went up pretty early this year. That's when we all kind of just go, okay, it's happening.
It's real.
This is really happening.
I was looking over some of the reviews on your all's Facebook page, and one of the things
this was
that
interesting.
struck me was, and one lady said that she'd been going to it since 1960s, right? But one of the biggest thing that struck me was very family oriented, very family friendly. The kids love it, and that not only obviously celebrating our country, but to bring that family atmosphere to people and have people get together. That's got to be just a feather in y'all's cap.
We really strive to keep it all family oriented. I mean, there's tons of things that you could do for fundraisers and things that we focus every year on just keeping everything family oriented.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's nice to have that, because there are, in this area, there are other places that you can go do other things, and it's great to have the variety. So to have a place that does create that particular atmosphere, I mean, it's nice to have, and it's nice to have that variety. What what goes into this? I mean, this,
What doesn't?
and I mean, I know we could probably do a 4-hour show on that. But I mean, is this something that like, hey, come August, you're starting to plan next year's, or you've already started planning next year's? I mean, how much work and time really goes into putting this on?
I don't think we've ever sat down and figured out the man hours, but I mean, we have a meeting, we have a post 4th meeting the end of July, and kind of just assess how things went, maybe why things are fresh on our mind, of what we may want to try next year. We do usually take August off, and then we start in September.
So 11 months out of the year, you're in 4th of July mode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And sometimes we're kind of already on a 5-year plan of what we think we might want to do just because of the way the dates fall.
Sure.
To like, next year we'll start with the 4th of July. This year we're ending with the 4th of July, so it's just every year's something. But now we've been through all the years together, the same group, so we know what to expect. So we've got it figured out, we think, for now.
Always a good idea to have short-term goals and then, long-term goals. That's really smart on y'all's part. And again, not that you need my validation, but it's just, in every committee I've been on, right? You have to do that. And that and I love what you said about fresh on your mind, because, as time goes, if I go to sleep, I may not remember it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So having that stop and going, hey, this was a little bit of a road bump here. We need to work on this. That, again, really, really smart. And I think that's why it's been so successful, because y'all do it the right way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we talk about that, and I think we keep talking about how many people show up and how big this event is. And I know we don't have specifics, but do you have any general idea how many people actually show up to these events?
For the concert, we've decided like 2,000 to 5,000. Every year we kind of ask the manager. They'll ask me how many we think or how many they think. They're really good, I think, at eyeballing crowds versus us, especially with the way everything is in the park.
Oh yeah,
right.
Because everybody's spread out.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I appreciate too. And not to get sidetracked here, but when I've been to those concerts, you get that many people there, and then what you think, it's a small area, small town, but it's really not. I mean, you're not crowded, you're not cramped. I mean, it's still an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, we like to hear that too, because you can still walk through.
Yeah. You're not stuck in a mosh pit. I mean, it's not.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing, when you really get up there, that's a big park. I mean,
and beautiful.
And it is, yes. But I mean, it's 2 blocks by 2 blocks. I know it's round, but I mean, it's a lot of square footage there. So you can cram a lot more people than you think in there.
Back to the park though, and when it started, and they had the original 4th of July celebration, they would haul in limbs from down by the river for shade because there were no trees in the park.
Right.
So over time, they planted those trees. So people knew, maybe they predicted how big it would be. It was big back then, but just people coming in on the trains and everything to celebrate it. So they planted all these trees. Imagine knowing how long that's going to take for those trees.
That's an investment.
So much now, and how huge they are. And we have this huge canopy of shade, and how lucky we are for that, that they did that. They were so dedicated to have that celebration. They hauled in limbs. And that is something that Bart McClary back home has told us that he found in some of the writings. He's kind of our local historian. And I was just like, man, so
that's
dedicated.
fascinating.
We thought, it's hot. And then I think about that story every year when I get a little feeling sorry for myself when I'm exhausted.
That's long-term planning.
That's not.
I can have air conditioning. I can escape to occasionally.
Yeah,
so.
I get hot and want shade. I run to the academy and buy me a shade tent. But so the big event, obviously you do multiple big events, but I feel like the one big pull every year is the concert, the free concert. And you've had, we were just looking over the last 10 years. You've had some big names out there. And I don't know if you can say or not, but we're kind of curious, what's been y'all's favorite concert to watch out there? If you can pick a favorite.
For me, honestly, it was Neil McCoy, because, everybody kind of jokingly and non-jokingly goes, oh, it must be nice to sit up there behind the bandstand during the concert. It's like, no, you can really come up there because it's not all that great.
Yeah.
The acoustics, everything's designed to go out front.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're back there for security and everything else. And Neil was one that we actually took the time to go around front, be right up front with him, and, and really got to enjoy that. And
so just the whole experience. Yeah.
Well, Billy's got his beer goggles on, so he had to go for that song.
There might have actually been
I think
actual beer goggles. That we bought just specifically for that.
Yeah, Maggie was 2 or 3, and she's out there dancing with us too. So
Yeah.
we did make time for that one. I think that may be the only one we've gone out there.
It is.
So I guess
People are pulling you 100
yeah.
ways
Oh.
and things that you have to do before the band leaves town, and there's so much that goes into that you
don't enjoy it the way that the community does. I mean,
No, you don't,
it's a
we don't
different
get to sit there and
perspective.
listen to it.
Yeah.
So that's why sometimes after it's all over, if the manager says, "Hey, you guys need to come see our show. We're going to be in so and so 2 hours away. Come see us," and they'll give us free tickets or tell us to come, and then we'll try to make those.
And you're like, finally, we get to actually listen to the
Yeah.
music now.
Yes, go to somebody else's event.
Yeah. Interesting. I guess you never think about it that way, but
I think mine was probably, the first one, Confederate Railroad, because it happened, and just getting over that hump and getting them there and knowing that all the electricity worked in the bandstand, like all these little things we didn't know before we got a big band in there. I mean, all the power they would pull and all the people getting in there and how that would go over. And then, the day with Lori Morgan was fabulous. I mean, her and her son were so much fun. I would totally have them every year. But that was a good day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So ton of events, and we will put a link to all of the events, and we're showing them on the screen now if you want to check them out. But we're not going to go through every one of them because we don't have 6 hours to do so. But kind of hitting some of the high points. I know you did say on the baby contest have a new sponsor that you're happy to have on. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that. I think Bold Daisy's helping to bring the baby contest to make it possible.
Yeah, Swope's Drive-In had sponsored the baby contest for like 40 years. And
Wow.
So that's a long time. Linda and Don Swope, the owners of Swope's, were on the committee for years and years and years and made a lot of things happen. And so they've reached retirement age now. And so Bold Daisy Boutique with Angie Thompson and Hannah Thompson are going to take that over.
Awesome.
Same rules as the past. Dress your baby's cute. I've seen some really cute outfits from them.
Oh,
up
yeah,
to
I've
18
always
months
seen
old.
the pictures.
Yeah.
Even when I don't make it out there, they do a good job of getting
Yeah.
all the pictures all over Facebook. And,
People are very creative.
oh, yeah.
They can make their baby even cuter.
Awesome.
Yeah, dress them up to 18 months old, and they're taking over this year. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
New
that's
sponsor.
awesome. It's fun that even though Swopes, as you said, was such a sponsor of
Staple,
that,
too.
that you can find other people that are willing to step up. And again,
Yeah.
that's a
Well, when
that's
you
a
think of
great
Rich Hill,
thing.
you think of Swope's Drive-In too. So
Absolutely.
it just kind of went together. I think they had didn't they have the diaper derby at one time where they crawled along there? Linda's
I
really
think
creative
yeah,
with all
that's
kinds.
funny.
She's really creative with all kinds of events. They've had a float in the parade for years and years. So they've been in the community, very involved for a long time.
Good for them.
The members only.
Yeah.
That is, if I'm remembering this correctly, an 80s band. So what can you tell us about that? That sounds exciting.
They are a very fun group. They're very popular. We usually don't bring, even on the off nights, bring groups back a second, year after year. We try to do
Mhm.
something different, but they were so popular. I mean, we were having requests that night to bring them back.
So this
And
is-
we were lucky to get, yes.
So this is a bring back. They've been okay.
They were here
I wasn't
last
aware
year,
of that. Gotcha.
They're
So
the first back-to-back we've had in quite a while.
Upon
We
or
like to mix it up.
okay.
Yeah.
By request, it sounds like too.
Yeah.
By
Oh yeah.
Very much so.
we get pulled aside at the grocery store, at the gas station, or wherever.
oh, I'm sure.
Messages, this, and we appreciate all of it. So
Yeah.
we took to heart.
Well, this is going to help. We'll put your phone number down at the bottom so everybody.
It's already out there.
Yeah,
anyway.
everybody any 4th of July request, contact Natalie. So for the Piano Man, I think we were chatting a little bit about that. The Piano Man that you have coming, and it sounds like he does some pretty interesting stuff as well. Some of the stuff he does, if you want to elaborate on that.
Elton John,
is-
Billy Joel, Jerry Lee Lewis. He brings his piano. He lights it on fire. He's
Oh, wow.
very entertaining. We saw him at Missouri Fairs and Festivals back in January, and we were all in there. We have to have him. We have to book this guy.
That made it happen.
Yes, so he will be here
Nice.
on Sunday, July 2nd.
Sunday, July 2nd. Go check out the Piano Man. Now, one thing that has changed, I think the 5K has been at a different time in the past. It's going to be in the morning now. Is that correct?
Yeah, the 5K, it used to be the opening night or the night before everything opened with the carnival. Now it's going to be Saturday morning, maybe a little bit cooler because it's, that time of year, it's just hot. all evening. So
And it's a 5K.
yeah, you can walk it, run it, dance it, whatever you want to do. It's a lot of fun. So a good way to get out and get some exercise that morning.
We always did it as a, we really didn't have a sponsor on it, so it was a night that all of us could kind of get down there and help and do it. And we do it as a glow run. We did it as a zombie hunt. We've done several things, but now that Muscle Brigade and Old Barn Print Shop have taken it over, they're kind of putting their own twist on it, which is great. They're going to do
absolutely.
It's going to be like a foam run this year.
Okay.
So yeah, it should be really
sounds exciting.
Yeah,
fun. The entertainers. So we've hit on some of them, but there's also some just going down this list here. Didn't know if there was any that you wanted to kind of highlight or jump on. I mean, obviously the big name this year, Mark Chestnut, but just looking through this, there's quite a handful of entertainers that you have coming out.
Yeah. I feel like this is the most jam-packed schedule we've had ever since we've been doing this. I mean, there's a lot going on. Of course, it's 5 nights, the way the schedule falls, and you have to have a weekend in there and make the carnival happy. And so, Left to Center's a local band. We have a ritual person on there, and then some guys out of Nevada. So they'll do a good job. They sing a lot of different genres. They're July 2nd after the Piano Man. And then, on the 4th is kind of one of those days everybody gets together and grills or barbecues at their house or whatever. So we've tried to bring people back into the park because our vendors are still,
they're still there.
They're still there. They still need support, the food booths, everything. So we saw Phil Vandell and his band, and I've shared a link on the Facebook page. He's great. Which song is it that he sings?
From the Bon Jovi. I mean, One Better Alive, and he rolls into several. But no, he's amazing. His entire band. I really hope that 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid comes with him that is a magnificent guitar player.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's from St. Joe, Phil is.
Okay.
So he'll be coming down from there. And then before that, we have a group out of Arkansas. They're the Heartland Dueling Pianos. Before them at 6 o'clock.
Might have to check those out.
We've never had a dueling piano group there. So that should be something new.
Well, anything from
if anybody's ever seen a dueling piano,
They're
always very entertaining. They're a riot,
Yes.
Well, and anything from Arkansas is pretty.
Yes. It's usually fun.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with it.
Shoes are not required. Go ahead.
No. Crocs are acceptable as long as they're in 4-wheel drive. But one thing that amazes me, and it's anytime I think about the 4th, this is where my mind, or the Rich Hill 4th. It's kind of funny because when you say the 4th, automatically you think Rich Hill.
You really do.
But when I think of the Rich Hill 4th, the pie auction. I mean, it's literally in the Guinness Book of World Record. I mean, the most expensive pie ever sold came out of there, and I think it was 3,100.
Officially, yes, and that record has now been broken, but we have actually broken it multiple times since then.
Okay, so what do you know the current record then? Do you know that?
I think the current record is actually, if I remember right, is Japanese, and it's like $14,000 or something.
Oh wow!
But we've had $5,000 and $6,000 pies.
Okay, wow.
What a great fundraiser.
It is. It's incredible. I mean,
Tailgate TV is going to start having a pie auction.
Yeah. Well, like Natalie said, when we first started out, it was, basically we had to prove to the community that we were going to do, work Chiefs games, work Wells games, hot dog nights, or dollar hot dog nights, and 95 degrees out, and just the smell. But after 2 or 3 years of proving that we could pull the concert off and maintain this, then we started seeing, not that we didn't have support before, but
people are weary at first.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't blame them.
we had to
Sure.
But I mean, it just started. I mean, the first time we hit $10,000 to pie auction, we just couldn't believe it. I mean, just the community support, everybody coming out, and
now you've almost got $10,000 on one pie.
I mean, then it grew to 20, then it grew to 30, and I just, I keep saying every year, I'm like, eventually it's. We just have to prepare. Eventually it's going to lose its momentum. But it just astounds me how the community just keeps supporting it.
When Jerry Moomaw bought that pie, and I went over that night. Of course, he knew it was a world record night because Larry Hacker had talked to him about it, and we all were aware. I went over there and I gave him a big hug, and I'm like, "Thank you I hope we never have to sell hot dogs again. Because a lot of people, you guys probably might not know, but back like 10 to 15 years ago, a lot of local organizations in the area would go work Kansas City Royals games to make some money. So what people don't know is how much that is not very much fun at all. It's a lot. It's a 12-hour day, sometimes 15-hour day. We worked a lot of buck nights because that's when we made our most money. Of course, those are the hot nights. Those are Friday nights. You're just slammed. I think we sold like 5,000 hot dogs one night. And you get back in town at 3:30 in the morning.
Right. And you take 8 to 10 people, and you're making $600 for the night. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's
Is it really worth it?
Well, I mean, it was to get to get it started, but it was
A lot of effort for the money.
absolutely.
We had several nights over $1,000, but it took that, and then we did the Royals, and then we went to the Chiefs before Patrick Mahomes. This is when the stadium looked empty, even though it was sold out. We worked
Funny how that
there
works.
too, and we never. If we went now, I don't know if they still do it, but I mean, I'm sure you make a killing if you were a group up there. But back then it wasn't so. So we did that for 2 years. So
That's wow.
And that
is work.
the other big fundraiser that you do is the fireworks stand.
Yeah.
So when does that start, and when are the fireworks being sold? Where can people get them at? What can you tell us about that? We want people to go buy your fireworks.
In Rich Hill, we actually get to sell a full 2 weeks. So we start on June 20th.
Okay.
And we can sell it actually on like next year. We can actually sell further than that. But we'll start June 20th. We're in our used to be the Lions Club building. The 4th of July now has that building right there at 5th and Park, on the south side of the road. And we've got. Matter of fact, we're going to load
we're going to go get some tomorrow.
4,000 pounds of fireworks tomorrow. So
So for all of your fireworks need, go down to Ritz Hill in the old Lions Club building, and
all volunteers, the 4th committee, but other people in the community. That's how they give back to us. They come and they help, and they spend hours in there selling fireworks for us, and all that money gets thrown back into the celebration or things that all the pie auction money always goes to the entertainment, always. But with the fireworks, we use some of that money to put the sidewalks in the bandstand and kind of fix it up a little bit that we needed to do.
it all goes back into Ritz Hill.
It goes back into the community.
Yeah.
And one thing, if it does rain, knock on wood, I wouldn't be sad if it did this year. Hopefully it doesn't rain things out. But we had, there's another thing that we did. We had to go get all these pieces of plywood. And it took an extra 4 hours to basically unload. I forget which band that was. It was raining. Little Texas was one of them. And then we had to do it again for somebody else. I think I was pregnant then. And it took so much extra time. We're laying on all the plywood because all that equipment that comes in there is so heavy, and it has to come around the front, and then they raise up the lights. And, so as soon as we could save up some money to put those sidewalks in, I mean, it just goes so fast now. It's so much easier. We're getting older. We're getting older. That's right.
And people don't realize how much money things cost. And so, it takes quite a bit to be able to put on the production that you guys put on down there. I mean,
I want to say something about the building. So I'm assuming inside is where you have fireworks and it's air conditioned.
Absolutely.
So if you want to go buy fireworks on a hot day, go to an air conditioned building is the place to go.
I know a place.
Yes, very nice.
We got a fun little ending segment. Would you rather? We have 4 questions in front of me. And I don't know how y'all want to do this. We can either take turns with the answer, and we can have a general consensus. Would you rather grill burgers or grill hot dogs?
All I think about is cooking for the band. Whenever we were doing it in the rain. Was that
burgers and hot dogs at the same time. Blackstone and charcoal at 10 a.m.
That's when you put pancakes on there.
No, they wanted lunch.
30 burgers and I don't know how many hot dogs. For me, burgers.
Good man.
Good man. Over charcoal.
Yes, good choice.
That's the best way. I like gas, but if I'm cooking a burger, it's on charcoal. A fireworks show or an outdoor concert?
Ooh, fireworks every time.
Okay.
I'm a true Rich Hill girl. That's a fireworks every time.
Good choice. Good choice. I like that
boomers.
I'd be loud boomers.
Yep.
Well, on that same note of fireworks, sparklers or Roman candles?
all Roman candles.
I thought that was an easy one. We decided to ask it, but that should have been no contest. Last one on track with the pies. Would you rather a fruit pie or a cream pie?
Oh, fruit pie.
Fruit pie. Okay.
Fruit pie.
Good choice again.
And you can buy one if you come down.
You can buy one at the pie auction, and
July 3rd. Guaranteed to be good.
I have heard that, and I have talked to some people who have bought some pies in there. I've never gotten one myself, but I hear they're pretty.
Are we doing the slices again this year?
I would say that we probably will.
Yeah.
That's, we kind of started that on a whim because we had several that buy more pies than you know what to do with. But we're like, let's just grab a table and threw it up along the side of the sidewalk, and you've got $2,000-$3,000 pies there, and you're selling them for $10 a slice. You know,
That's awesome.
just because it does help some that want to contribute, but
Of course.
and you just take that money.
And some people just want to taste a $10,000 pie.
There you go.
Why not?
Yeah, well, the sad story about the world record pie is it was so hot that day. And I think that's before we started judging in the basement of the Methodist church. We're so thankful they let us use their building that when Jerry got his pie home, it was spoiled. So Jerry had to make him another one.
I want to know. I saw a picture of what kind of.
Strawberry rhubarb pretzel pie, wasn't it? No.
No, it was the banana.
Yes.
It was a banana pretzel crust.
That is.
Kara's going to beat you.
Is it? But it had pretzels. I thought it had rhubarb.
Yeah, but it was banana.
No, the strawberry rhubarb was the year before. That was the one that went over
that's
2000.
that's the one that started it. Okay.
Yes.
That's the one that started it.
Yes, and Jared, I should know exactly what the pie is, but it was basically a banana pie with a pretzel crust.
Really?
We're going to need samples
I
at
was
some
gonna say,
point.
I think that would be, just so we, know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
49
Just for research.
Buy some flowers.
Right?
Talk to Jara.
We will have to
She
do
is
that.
a very good pie baker.
Yes.
That whole family is great. Like at Jara's wedding, even she had pies,
Love it.
not cake.
Love it.
Pies.
Love
Total
it.
rich old girl.
Yeah, that's
Interesting. Well, we want to thank you guys for coming and chatting with us. We've really appreciated your time. We think we've learned a lot and had a good time. And we want to thank y'all for watching. We're going to be back on Tailgate TV. Welcome back to Tailgate TV, where we're getting ready to do one of our favorite segments. Thing we do every episode. It's called Tailgate Picks. Me and Brad sit around and we pick 3 of our favorite things. We each pick 3. And in honor of the holidays coming up and the episode we're having, what are we picking on this episode, Brad?
this week, one of my favorite picks, by the way, fireworks.
Love them.
Love fireworks. And again, we're going to tents and the same places y'all buy your fireworks. Now, again, there are different brand names for fireworks. We're not necessarily getting into that, just the types of fireworks and the names of the fireworks that we enjoy.
Absolutely. And so we'll jump straight into it. And this is not something we're going to be catching each other's reactions, as we have not went over our picks with each other. But my number 3 pick, we're going in reverse order here, is smoke bombs. I mean, they don't make a big boom. They're not super fancy, but just I love to see that smoke rolling, especially at night. Got some lights on it. They're just pretty.
It is. They're a lot of fun. I enjoy. And again, when I was a kid, you had the little balls, and now
you got grenades.
Oh yeah,
and you got. I mean, all kind.
And they last a long
I was gonna say
time.
you could go 5. I mean, you go inside and wake up in the morning and something's on fire.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff is on fire.
Yeah,
you might want to be careful about that.
Yeah, I've got a story. My oldest son was out in the yard shooting off smoke bombs.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, now, listen, after you light those and the smoke diminishes, or while they're going, they're hot.
They stay warm for a minute.
Yes, they do. And so don't touch them. I said, if you want to get them out of the way, kick them or something, but don't touch them. Well,
make sure you have shoes on when you kick them out of the way.
Absolutely, yeah. Steel-toed not required, but not
some kind of toe.
Not
barefoot.
Yeah,
not the Arkansas kick.
That's right. So he comes inside, and you could tell right when he came inside that there was something not right.
Yeah.
And I said, "You okay?" And he goes, "I'm just going to the bathroom." So he goes in, and I just hear him run the water in there.
He didn't want to admit that he had done what you told him not to do.
I think he thought if he burned himself, that I wouldn't let him shoot any more off.
Gotcha. And he didn't want to give up fireworks
No,
privileges.
he's going to grin and bear it. Well, he comes back through, and when he was coming back through the house, he had little tears in his eyes. And I said, what's going on? And I burned myself, and all that. And I said, well, what happened? Well, what had happened was he had thrown a smoke bomb, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to lay on the ground, then light them. But he had thrown one, and the smoke was going into the grass because it was landed down.
Yeah.
And so he was trying to turn it over to get smoke, and it burned him good. He had a couple of pretty good little blisters on his fingers. And so my wife, Jackie, she was good enough to go in there, and she got him a little baggie full of ice so he could keep his fingers cool, Well, we watch him, and he puts the bag of ice over by a tree. And he would go over to light another one, and if it wouldn't light, because sometimes smoke bombs can be tough to light with a punk.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd run back over, and if it wouldn't light quickly, he'd run back over and grab that bag, hold his fingers on to cool them down, then he'd run back over and try to light it again. It was pretty funny.
That explains why anytime I do fireworks at your house, I always see a bag of ice sitting on the side.
At least one.
Yeah.
Yes, we keep that cooler ready for that. But really, really good pick, though. I love smoke bombs.
Oh, yeah.
Such a fun thing. My number 3 pick. And again, I kind of went away from the rules a little bit, and I decided I was
We're
going to
rule
pick.
followers around here, Brad.
I was going to pick 2 for my number 3, so I really have 4 picks. But these kind of on the same lines that you were talking about, but kind of not. One is dynamite sticks.
Okay.
About a foot long, maybe 15, 16 inches long. You light them, you throw them, and they just pop like crazy. So much fun. Love those things. We always buy they come in little rounds of about 6 or 8 at a time, and you can buy. So we buy at least one of those a year. Love those. All the kids love them.
Well, and you talk about trauma. My mother, they weren't the dynamite sticks, but they're very similar. They're the, I think Madcap makes them, but they're those red. I mean, they're the same things. They're a strip of crackers.
Right.
And you light them and pop, 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 pop. And my mother would always get those in 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
If you're watching this, Mom, I still have nightmares about this. But she would, I'd be 7, 8 years old. She'd light them outside my window. I'd jump out of bed screaming I'd been shot.
Right.
And she thought it was the funniest thing. So I've never been a fan of those.
Isn't it amazing? This is a sidebar here. Isn't it amazing that when you start talking about fireworks, there's always stories?
There's always, and that's what's so great about them. And that's what, last month we had Matt on talking about the fireworks show they do up at Adrain. And he said, it's kind of hard to justify doing it, but at the same time, you sit and you listen to people that have these, and we talk about people that, we used to go to this show, we used to go to this show, the 4th of July show, which we've heard a lot about today.
Right.
I mean, we're creating memories with these.
Absolutely.
And you can't put a price on that.
No, you really can't.
Now, some fireworks stands will try.
Yes. They don't mind putting a price tag.
No.
But my second number 3 pick, if that's maybe my 3B.
Okay, 3A, 3B.
And this is mainly because I'm a grandfather.
Okay.
But my kids loved them. My grandkids' child loves them. Is parachutes. Love parachutes. Okay. I enjoy so much seeing the little kids run after them, trying to catch them as they fall into the sky or fall out of the sky. And, of course, they end up in trees. They end up in your gutters. They end up all over the place. You'll find them for months on end afterwards because they're just everywhere. Yeah, it is. And it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Love those.
Love parachutes a lot. And, again, they have a battalion. I think it's called a battalion. I think it shoots like 100 off at a time, and boy, they are everywhere.
Oh yeah,
a lot of fun. Enjoy those a lot.
My number 2 pick, and this to me is kind of a pregame firework.
Okay,
this is a firework you're going to shoot all throughout the day, getting ready for the big shows.
Okay,
but the Roman candles.
Love Roman candles.
I mean, you sit there, you hold them, or you don't. I don't know the protocol on those.
Right.
But you light those Roman candles off, and you get a nice little show, but they're easy, they're cheap.
Absolutely.
And like I said, to me, it's a pregame firework.
It is, and it gets you ready.
Absolutely. It gets you, oh man, that's pretty. I want to see a bigger one.
Absolutely.
And then you wait till night comes, you go to one of these shows, you go to Rich Hill, and you watch a Roman candle times 30, which is essentially what the big ones are.
Absolutely. And I will say, as you mentioned, Rich Hill, we are really blessed in this county. We have a couple of, and really 3 really good fireworks shows. Obviously, one's not going to happen this year, but the other 2, the Adrain one and the Rich Hill one, great shows. Been to both of them, have enjoyed both of them.
Bates County, Rich Hill, as we've talked about, being famous for the 4th, but Bates County in general does a pretty good job.
They do.
Celebrating the 4th.
A lot of fun. My number 2 pick, and this one is more for me.
Okay.
So
we went grandkids.
Yeah, went the grandkids, went the
Traumatizing Cody route already.
Right.
Brad always likes to do.
Obviously. So much fun. But one bad mother-in-law. That dude is a 500-gram cake, and again, it's a little pricey, but again,
I like cake.
They're all are a little expensive nowadays.
Everything is.
But boy, do you get a lot for the bucks you're going to spend. You light it once. And I don't know how many shots it has. I don't keep track. I just watch them.
You need to count this year.
Enjoy that firework. It's not the super expensive 500-gram cakes, but it's not at the lower end either. It's kind of in the middle,
mid-grade.
which is kind of where I like to stay.
I've never heard
a lot of fun.
I've never heard anyone say that they like a bad mother-in-law.
Well, I will tell you, Cody, I don't know what that's like because I don't have one.
Good answer. But she might be watching the show.
This firework is really, really good.
Okay.
I would recommend it.
I think we finally made it to the long-awaited number 1 picks.
Number 1 picks.
For me, again, simple.
Okay.
Simple.
Yep.
But bottle rockets. Growing up, we always would have, I had older cousins. They would show up to every 4th of July party with backpacks full of bottle rockets.
Right.
And not that I've ever experienced this, but so I've heard bottle rocket wars have been a thing.
I've heard
in
that
the past.
I don't
Who
know
knew?
where someone would come up with that.
And I've been told that if you take a bottle rocket to the leg, the back of the leg or the rear end, that they can be painful.
Yeah, I've heard that only in the screams from a distance.
There's been screams.
Yes, I'm sure that's true. And now we cannot shoot those off.
Not inside
Butler city limits.
Correct.
I don't know about Adrain and Rich Hill. Check your local laws to see if those are applicable to you.
We don't want to be in trouble. Tailgate TV told me that no, we're not promoting breaking the law.
That's right.
Or any city ordinances.
Not doing that. Love bottle rockets.
Yes.
Love them. They are so much fun. It's really a shame that
they can be dangerous.
Some things have happened because of them, and I hate that because it's such a fun thing. My number 1, and again, number 2 was for me.
You.
Number 1's about me too.
Okay.
That's the way I roll. Excalibur artillery shells. Love them. They are. If you hear a big boom around Butler, they're probably coming from an Excalibur artillery
I know a
shell.
house that they might be coming from.
Probably. Probably so. Now, and I tell you, when they go up, not only is there a big boom when they take off, but the shell dispersion of the whatever you want to call that, the
Well, and those are the ones that, they light up
burst.
the sky.
Yes, they do. You can hardly get it in your vision as you look up.
Yeah.
It covers your entire vision. And that, to me, is the fun of doing it, right? Wait till nighttime and blast those dudes off. And
that's a finale firework for sure.
It is certainly that. The only problem with it is there's just one shell at a time.
Okay.
So you have to load them and then, take your time. But the tube that they come in is plastic. So if that tells you anything, because most of them are paper.
Oh, yeah.
That's plastic. So you know that there's some
juice behind that sucker.
Some
Oh,
juice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they're great.
Yeah.
And again, they're a little pricey, but
if you want a good finale at your fireworks show,
absolutely. Check those out.
Check
You'll
them
enjoy
out.
them.
Interesting. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in this month to Tailgate TV and for your continued support. We'd also love to thank the sponsors that have come on board and helping to make this happen.
Absolutely.
We have O3 Customs, who has made these hats that we're wearing, a hat that we gave away, and they're continuing to do good things throughout the community, making hats for people and for events. So check out O3 Customs if you're in need of hats. Sonic, who's been one of our lead sponsors since the very beginning, and have really believed in us. We appreciate what they've done with hooking us up. Mid-America, who has been with us since the beginning, helping to share some of our stuff and get us out there. CNS Graphics, who continues to work with us. We just want to thank everybody who's sponsoring us. We also want to say that if you want to be a sponsor, to join our team, we'd love to have you, so let us know. But for now, we want to thank you for watching Tailgate TV.
Dancing with the radio up, yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. Dancing with the radio up, yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown.